Hey guys, what is going on today? Bojo here, and we are back for our NHL 16 BGM following the Philadelphia Flyers here at the trade deadline. And yes, we are definitely going to be making some moves at the trade deadline. So currently the Flyers sit at a record of 35, 21, and 6. 2 points behind the New York Islanders with 1 game in hand. So we're looking pretty good for that situation right there. Actually, yeah, 1 game in hand on the New York Islanders. So as you guys can see, we're hopefully going to be making a trade at the trade deadline because I wanted some suggestions from you guys. We are running a little bit of a 3-game winning streak now after we had a little bit of a rough patch after we got finally done dealing with all the injuries here. But we are up at the trade deadline now here in year number 5. So thank you guys for your suggestions for definitely some trade deadline deals to make. We're gonna hold a team meeting here before we before we do that. Let's see if we can go to the trade blocks here and review some of the definite trades that you guys wanted me to take a look at. So a bunch of you guys were letting me know that Anthony Duclair would have been a really interesting player to pick up because he's 79 overall, but he's still considered a second line forward. So his morale must be really in the crapper for Duclair to have a record of 79. But I'm going to opt to not go with Duclair because of the contract, 3.2 at 3 years left. I want some guys on a much lower contract deals because I have some really good rookies coming up in the next couple of years. Like I said, we don't need defense because we have the best defense with the goals against average in the league. So picking up Mark Giordano there would not be really smart. Stahl was another name that came up once again. 4 years left at $5 million. It's not something I'm really willing to work around. And then we get to Mr. Rick Nash, the person that I wanted to trade for, and the person you guys suggested that I trade for, and the person that I think we will be trading for in this video. So we are going to make ourselves a trade deadline deal here between the New York Rangers and the Philadelphia Flyers, teams that don't normally make trades together, but there is an exception for every rule. And we're gonna see if we can swipe up here Rick Nash from the New York Rangers. So if we take a look at Nash one more time, 87 overall, 35 years old, last year of his deal. At 7.75 mil, he will become an unrestricted free agent after this year is over. He may retire after the year is over as well, 35 years old. But we need a guy like Rick Nash to get our 5-on-5 scoring definitely upgrade. We're in a playoff race. I think picking up a guy like Rick Nash would definitely be advantageous for our team, as you guys can see. Shooting category, almost all in the 90s. Decent defensive player, mid-80s for his stuff. Puck skills are in the upper 80s. Good offensive awareness, really good poise. Kind of a physical type of player as well, and he's having a pretty good year in addition to it. 52 points in 62 games, a little bit under a point a game per player. He's on pace to have once again another kind of 60-point season again. +2, not really many penalty minutes, but picking up a guy like Rick Nash would definitely be a really great addition to our team, and that's what we're going to go for just because of the fact that his trade value is very low as well. If I have to look, it's like halfway to the A is what Rick Nash's trade value is at. So obviously the Flyers can take on this contract without any sort of problem. But now we have to figure out what the Flyers would be willing to give away to acquire one Rick Nash. So if we have to go take a look at all positions here first and see exactly what we would be willing to give away. So goaltenders, we're not willing to give away any of these goaltenders. Neuwirth, Mason are our 1-2 punch. We're not giving away our elite prospect goaltender McBride, Vixton, and Stolarz' trade values are so low, so we're not going to give away any of those guys away. Defensively, I really don't see us giving away any defense either. Provorov, Hag, Sanheim, Morin, Gostisbehere, and Bachman are obvious defensive pair there, so that's our starting 6. We obviously can't get rid of any of those guys because we don't have anybody really to fill in the squad other than Taro Martins, who we just picked up from a trade earlier on in the year, as well as Paul Postma. So other than that, there's not really anything great we could trade for defense either, nor do I want to give up any of these guys on defense. So we're definitely giving away some forwards and or draft picks in this trade for Rick Nash. So if we have to take a look at it here, Jacob Voracek is not going anywhere. Claude Giroux, not going anywhere. Earl Grantham, definitely not going anywhere because depending on how much of a boost this guy gets between the end of this year and next year, he could possibly become a first line player. So if that's the case, he might be on that first line with Claude Giroux and Jacob Voracek, knocking Simmons back down to the second line again. So Grantham's not going anywhere. Simmons is not going anywhere. Nathan Noel, or Noel, whatever it is, you guys have been contradicting me on both times. We're not giving away this guy. He's got low potential to become a franchise player. He's really getting up there in overall. He's actually a second line player now as his role. So I think we maybe do boost him up to the second line now to play with some of those players. Travis Konechny, we're not getting rid of Konechny at all. Scott Laughton is one player we definitely could consider giving away at this point. Now, Laughton has been pretty much playing fourth line all year. He hasn't complained about his ice time, which is really fantastic to say the least. Still a really good defensive player. He's been putting up okay points this year. Not really, 9 goals, 9 assists, and however many games we played so far, 60-some games, which isn't great, only 18 points. But his trade value is pretty good up there, so obviously we could give away a guy like Scott Laughton. We could also give away a guy like Braden Shen. Braden Shen is in the last year of his contract as well. 85 overall, left winger, 28 years old. He has, 42 or 40, 50? Is it 40? It's 40 points so far this year. Him and Tyler Toffoli, I think, are top 2 point getters as well, if you don't count Claude Giroux, because he is kind of on a point per game pace, even though he's missed a lot of games this year. Braden Shen could be an interesting player that we give away as well. He's a second line player, which would be interesting because if we give away Shen, that means that Noel can move up to the second line in the future. But for right now, we can leave Braden Shen. We could move Rick Nash up there to play the wing as well. Toffoli could be another interesting player to get rid of, but we have him signed long-term anyway, and I see him downgrading maybe down to the third line next year in addition to that. So there's the potential of that. Timo Meier could also be given away because we do have Julien Gauthier in the back as another potential third line power forward to come up to the team. But the only problem with Meier and Gauthier is Meier has elite potential while Gauthier has top 9 potential. 1 year younger, obviously 1 year older. I think Meier is a restricted free agent at the end of this year. Same thing with Gauthier. So depending on what happens with those guys, they'll be restricted. So we obviously can tender qualifying offers to them. And depending on how much money they want, we can maybe get some draft picks in return if we don't feel the need to keep them on our team anymore. But I think Scott Laughton is definitely going to be a part of this Rick Nash deal without any questions. So Scott Laughton will be put on the trading block for this team. Now, is there any players that the New York Rangers are actually interested in that we can maybe send them our way? They want Moran, they want Ghost, they want Couturier, but I don't know if I feel all too comfortable giving away Sean Couturier yet, considering I just signed him for a decent contract. Well, he's still signed for a decent contract, $4 million for 3 years. Plus, I love Coots' defensive category, second line type of player. But you know what? I feel like he'll get moved down to the third line, the way I see it. So this is tough, guys. This is really tough because I have to really think about who I want to give away here. Because I can give away another player if I so choose, because I need to. But Laughton is definitely a part of this deal. Laughton, without any question, is going to the New York Rangers as a part of this deal. The only question is, who else do I include onto this deal? Do I include Julien Gauthier as that prospect? I would almost guarantee I keep Timo Meier. If I had to compare Gauthier and Meier, Gauthier's been playing pretty good so far, 17th overall in 2016, the first year of being drafted, 22 years old, be a nice young player for the Rangers to add on here. Do we have faith that Meier would be better suited than Gauthier? I don't know. I don't like either of these guys to say the least because their defensive categories aren't really great as power forwards. Is Meier more physical than Gauthier is? Not necessarily. Gauthier seems to be more physical, but it looks like Meier has a better shooting category. 9 goals this year for Meier, which is not bad. And how's Gauthier been doing in the AHL if it even shows his stats? Which it does not. I don't think it shows the career stats. Yeah, it does. 44 points in 56 games this year for Gauthier, plus 6. So it seems like he's working out in the AHL, which is good. But if I give away Meyer, what does that entail for my team? If I give away a third liner and a fourth liner, that would mean that somebody on the second line has a spot now. Well, I'm taking a lot of time to analyze this because I'm trying to figure out what happens. Okay, so if Lawton goes, Meyer gets moved down to the fourth line. Somebody on the second line gets moved down to the third, which would either be Shen, Couturier, or Toffoli. Nash gets put in on the second pair. Or he could get moved up to the first pair with Giroux and Voracek, and Simmons gets bumped down there, which would bump somebody else down to the third. And then we could move Nathan Noel up to the second line and replace one of those guys again. So it's going to be a lot of moving of lines, depending if we keep Lawton. I think Lawton is the only person that goes in this, and I think I give up a draft pick. I really do. I don't see myself giving away any of these prospects, although they do have a good bit of trade value. I could give away somebody here. There definitely can be. There is somebody I could give away in this. Maybe Vince Connolly could go. Maybe a guy like Vince Connolly. A bunch of you guys are saying Ryan White, but I don't want to give away Ryan White. Ryan White's a solid fourth liner for my team. Maybe a guy like Vince Connolly. A guy who I signed this year. Vince Connolly could be somebody I give away because even though he's 77 overall, 21 years old, kind of young, 23 points so far. His potential's not great, but his trade value is pretty good because of his high overall and how young he is. So maybe I could give away Vince Connolly and a third-round pick to the Rangers, and then I think that trade might go through. So I give away a roster player, a prospect, and a pick to get Rick Nash. Let's see. I would be willing to do that. Rangers will have more than 45 scares in the organization. Okay, well, I'll take back a really shitty player. I'll take back Watson, I guess, 25 years old. Yeah, one-year deal. Perfect. Means I don't have to keep him. So we get Watson back, and then we add in a pick into the deal. I will give away my best, my higher end overall of the thirds, which would probably be, maybe I can get away with giving away Colorado's. Or maybe I can get away with giving away mine. We'll see if mine goes through, and if not, we'll up the third round pick a bit. All right. So we'll see if this goes through. It's a little bit of a weird trade, but I think it might be a really good trade if this actually does go through. For a rental player, for giving away this, it's actually a really solid deal on our end. So let's see if this goes through. Scott Lawton, Vince Connolly, and our third round pick to the New York Rangers for Rick Nash and Watson. Will this go through? Trade accepted. I doubt anybody will think the New York Rangers came out on the short end of the stick with this trade, so it's a done deal. Wow, so the Rangers were actually liked that trade a hell of a lot. And multiple morale changes went up for trading for Rick Nash, which is actually really, really cool. We can go to the line edits. Yep, let's edit up our lines. Welcome to the Philadelphia Flyers of Rick Nash. Man, oh man. All right, so now that Rick Nash is on the team, he is a right winger, if I believe so. So we can move Timo Meier down to the bottom part here. Let's put Rick Nash in here on the right-hand side. Cool. Let's just put substitute. Cool. Let's get Rick Nash in there. He is going to be on our second line for sure, because Simmons still seems to be doing a good job on the first line. Yeah, he's got, what, 40 points on the first line? Well, you know what? Rick Nash has been really good. Do we want to break up that chemistry of the first line, or do we want to bring up Rick Nash to the first line? That's a really interesting, I think we should. You know what? I'm going to bring Rick Nash up to the first line. I'm going to bring Rick Nash up to the first line. I'm going to move Simmons down to the second, since Simmons is a left winger. Let's move Simmons over there to the left side. I still want that sniper on the second line, so I think Braden Shen or Sean Couturier moves down. Well, one of them has to come down. I think... What do I do here? What do I do? I think... who had really good chemistry so far this year? Shen had really good chemistry. So, I think... Let's move Nathan Knoll up to the second line. Let's move Braden Shen down to the third pair. And let's move Tyler Toffoli back up to the second. Okay, it's a little bit weird, but, you know, I think I like this lineup. So we're going to see if Rick Nash going up to the first pair actually does anything. So that's the moves I'm going to make right now. We're going to have Rick Nash, Claude Giroux, and Jacob Voracek. Wayne Simmons, Nathan Knoll, and Tyler Toffoli. Travis Konechny, Sean Couturier, and Braden Shen, along with Timo Meier, Marcus Kruger, and Ryan White. So that's what our new look team is going to look like right now. Rick Nash gets moved up to the first line. We'll see how that works out. If not, we'll move Simmons back and move Nash back down to the second pair. But Nash is a first line player, so I think we should let him go on the first line. Same thing with Simmons, but Nash is a little bit more better offensively minded than Wayne Simmons is. So I want to get the offense rolling there, especially with Giroux and Voracek. Nash can really get the offense going, and he can protect those two guys out there as well. Plus, we have a playmaker, sniper, power forward combo on the first pair. All right, so we're going to leave that set up right there. Special teams now. Do we want to make any changes to it? I think we have to put Rick Nash on the power play. I think I'm going to put him on the second line power play. I'm going to take Braden Shen off of that power play, and I'm going to put him into the second line power play with Couturier and Toffoli. Do I want to leave Coots in there, or do I want to put Nathan Knoll now onto the power play? Let's see. Let's look at Nathan Knoll, his puck moving skills categories. He only really has puck control, so no, we do not. Remember, Knoll's the defensive type of playmaker, so we want Couturier in there because he still has the better puck moving skills. So we'll leave Coots in there. Oh yeah, Knoll's on the point on the first line. That's why I forgot to mention. Maybe we should move Rick Nash up to the point because he's got a slap shot's pretty good, and Knoll can go back down there. You know what? We're on a 3-game win streak, so let's leave that for right now. 4-man power play, Couturier, Simmons. Yeah, we can leave that. We'll just put Rick Nash there. We don't need to put Nash on the penalty kill or anything like that. He's here for offense. Yeah. So that's it. I think we're just going to leave Rick Nash, move him up to the first line. We need to make some, obviously, some line edits here in the AHL now that we gave away Vince Connolly. So who can come in now? Jamal Watson, who was the sniper that we got in the deal. I guess Taylor Lear can actually play now. So let's substitute. Actually, you know what? Let me do this. Let me scratch Lear, just so I can do substitute in all lines. Any line that Connolly was in, he'll be replaced there with Lear. Good. Back to the NHL, which is good, and we're good to go. All right, save changes. There you go. New York Rangers trade is done. Trade has occurred. We can go to the activity feed. We can take a look at the player and pick tradings, as there have been a couple trades so far in the month of March. We can take a look at these before we get going again. So Devils got Alexander Wenberg from Columbus for Reed Boucher, so that was a straight up 1-for-1 trade. Vancouver got a second and Albin Storm for Patrick Berglund. Pittsburgh got Steve Downey for Jacques Dague and a third. Toronto got Corey Ramo for a third, or 2/3 to the Flames. Arizona Coyotes got Dominic Pock and Simon Bourque from the Montreal Canadiens for a 3rd-round pick and Tyler Biggs. And then the New York Rangers acquired Scott Lawton, Vince Connolly, and a 3rd-round pick for Rick Nash and Jamal Watson. So there we go, boys. Rick Nash is a part of this Philadelphia Flyers team. We could hold a team meeting. We could do our player morales, all this fun stuff. All right, so Robert Haig, less enjoyable place now that you trade away Scott Lawton away. All right, hockey's a business. Sometimes you have to make hard decisions that are tough. Yep, sorry it affected you that way, hey, Robert. Positive effect on him? All right. Rick Nash, welcome to the team. Being traded is always a hassle, but I'll rebound. I always do. All right, don't get complacent. We were always evaluating our roster. Welcome aboard. I think it was a trade that will leave both teams happy. I think we got a fair deal in that trade, so don't let me down. Yeah, I think we got a fair deal in that trade. Don't let me down. Negative effect. All right, so Rick Nash doesn't like that. Welcome to the team, bud. All right, top teams require effort, but I don't care where they are in the standings. This is against the Islanders. I think they're in the same league as us. Let's focus, let's just do that. There we go. Morale back up again. AHL, anybody morale-wise? Nope, nobody down there. All right, good. So we made the trade. Rick Nash is a part of our team, and hopefully this team can now, make its way on a playoff push. So we're going to simulate this game here up against the New York Islanders. Now that Rick Nash is on the team, made a bunch of line changes. Let's see if this Flyers team actually will benefit from it. Here we go. First period here at home against the New York Islanders. 1-0 Ryan Strome on Steve Mason. Not a good start. Second period, 2-1 Wayne Simmons and Sundstrom. All right, not really good there. Shots are pretty much even. Third period, we lose 2-1. All right, so Rick Nash on his Flyers debut, and we lose to the New York Islanders, which actually was a really big game that we really didn't want to lose. So now we really have to get our winning. We have to really get our skates under us here, boys. All right, well, 2 losses in a row and then get an overtime win over the Blues. And then we face the Rangers and we get a 3-2 win. So we get 1 loss there, come back with 2 wins, and now we're 3. Got 4 wins in a row, and we're scoring goals as well. Very nice, boys, very nice. All right, we didn't scout the U.S. guys there. Let's go for forwards in the U.S. for 6 weeks. All right, we play the Rangers again. Another big game, 5-1. All right, our goal scoring is pretty on point right now. Colin McDonald's being placed on waivers. Let's see, we're getting a lot of morales because of ice times. McDonald's 77 overall. Nah, no thanks. We can decline that. All right, let's stop the simulation here because we did have a couple buys. Actually, no, let's keep the simulation going. We're winning games. We haven't lost yet. A big win streak now for the Flyers. There we go, boys. Look at this goal scoring. 4-2 over the Canucks. All right, maybe that trade actually did pay off for the Flyers because now they are on an absolute tear here at the end of March coming into the playoffs. There's a loss finally to the Nashville Predators, and it's on the road, of course. Robert Haig has been injured with a concussion. His estimated return is May 2nd. Fantastic. He's out for a month. Oh, Robert. God damn it. All right. Replace the player for right action. Yeah, I gotta edit this manually. All right, Robert Haig has now been injured. That's not great. That's not good. That's not good at all. All right. All right. Robert Haig has been injured. So, Sam Moran, you're up to 86 now. All right, so you move up, which means I believe Postma gets put into the lineup now, correct? Yep, Paul Postma. You get substituted in here. Okay. All right, so Paul Postman now alongside of Ulf Bachman. Good deal. All right, so special teams now. Haig was on the 4-man power play. So Sanheim, Gostisbehere, Bachman, and let's go with Provorov. Okay. Penalty kill. Let's go with Moran, Provorov, Sanheim, and now I guess we go with who was it? It was Moran, Provorov, and Sanheim. Moran, Provorov, Sanheim. Moran, Provorov, Sanheim. I guess we gotta go with Gostisbehere. Yeah, Ghost has to go into for penalty kill. Really nothing else I can do there. I can't put Postma in there. Well, maybe I can. How good is Paul Postman's defensive category? Let's see. As a 2-way defenseman, it's not bad. Is Ghosts better, though? Yeah, Ghosts is better, though. So, Ghost will get some penalty kill time now. Let's see. It's probably just extras now. Yep. All right. Provorov. I guess Postma will just slot in for Haig right there. And then, once again, we'll just slot Postma in there. Slot Postma in there for Haig. All right, well, that hurt a little bit. That's a little bit of a hurt. Losing Robert Haig, kind of our top 4 defenseman there, but Moran got a little bit of a nice morale boost, so he should be good. So there's a loss to the Nashville Predators finally, but then we get a win over the Dallas Stars. All right, so a little bit of a rough patch there after losing the first 2 games coming out of the trade deadline. It took a little bit of time to get the chemistry established, but after that, they go on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 game winning streak, winning 9 of their next 10 games. So Flyers went off on a 9-game winning streak, getting 9 out of 10 wins ever since the trade deadline. So since the trade deadline, what is that? When they won 9 in a row, so that'd be 10, 11, 12? Or am I stupid? Hold on. That's 10 games up to the Dallas game from here to here. Yeah, because that'd be 3, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So they lost 3. So they went 10-3, I guess. Yeah, 10-3 since the All-Star, or since the trade deadline. Can't talk today. All right, well, the Flyers jettisoned back up to second place in the division because of that, so that's really, really good. Looking really good. Let's check out the standings right here. So we are at 96 points right now. 4 points ahead of the New York Islanders, as well as the Washington Capitals. Once again, remember, the Atlantic Division is not going to have the wild card this year. It definitely will be coming from the Metro. As long as we continue up this nice little streak that the Flyers are on right now, I say we continue running with this squad. Let's see how the Phantoms are doing. Phantoms are in first place in their division as well, so I'm not going to complain. Now, if the Flyers have won 9 of their last 10, let's keep it going, man. Let's keep it going. Let's go another week here. Let's get through Pittsburgh and Washington, and then we'll do another update on the standings. All right, there's 4-1 loss to Pittsburgh and a 6-3 loss to Washington. Okay, not what I wanted there. All right, well, we dropped back down to 3rd, but the good news is we did get ourselves a playoff spot. So we are in a playoff spot. It's just going to be determined where we are going to, what position we're going to be in the playoff spot. So let's go one game at a time here. See where we're going to end up. There's a 3-2 loss to Jersey. All right, boys. Not the best time right now to go on a little bit of a losing streak. Shootout loss to Carolina. Not great. Florida, 5-2 loss. Oh my God, man. We go into 9 wins in a row. 9 out of 10 wins, and now we've lost 5 straight. Heading into the playoffs. Not great. Not great. Wow, we dropped all the way back down to 5th. Holy shiza, boys. What is going on right now? What points are we at? We're at 97 points. Everybody else, 4 teams in our division have 100 points. That's ridiculous. Best we can finish with is 101. And we might be screwed here, guys. We might actually get screwed out of a really bad seed in the playoffs because our division was so good. All right, well, let's simulate these 2 games here against Ottawa and I think Washington, because that Washington game actually might become really huge here. All right, let's see how we do here, boys. We need some points here. We need to end this losing streak right now. First period at home, 1-1 tie, Voracek and Chiasson. Second period, 2-2, Provorov and Mark Stone. Yeah, Mark Stone. All right, come on, boys. We need a big third period here. Third period, 3-2. There you go. Claude Giroux, regulation win over the Senators. Big win there, boys. Big win. All right, so that will give us 46 wins now, tied with the Washington Capitals. Actually, no. Washington moves up to 2nd in the division. All right, so where are we situated here? We're at 99 points, so the best we can do is tie the New York Islanders or the Hurricanes if they end up losing their games. So I have no idea where we're going to end up. No idea where we're going to end up, and we might be the worst. We actually might end up getting the worst wildcard spot, too. We actually might get the worst wildcard spot if we happen to do this, and we're going to actually end up playing like the Columbus Blue Jackets, I think. Oh, man, this is not going to be good. So this game against Washington is pretty huge. We need to win this game. We need to win this game. We're in the playoffs, which is good, but seeding here is going to be really crucial here. So we need this win over Washington. First period, 1-1. Colin Greening gets one on Neuwirth. Sam Moran gets one on Holtby. Second period, 2-1. There you go. Shane Gostisbehere, our defensemen, are stepping up here in this game against the Capitals. All right, come on, boys. All I need you to do is hold on here. Third period, 3-1. There you go. Claude Giroux with the dagger with a minute left to go. The Flyers do win this game 3-1, so they did what they had to do, get to 101 points on the year. But we have to see where that's going to jettison us up to as the year ends. Are we still the worst wildcard team? Yes, we are. We ended off the year with 101 points and got the last wildcard spot. That's pretty intense. Well, there was no question that we were going to be a wildcard team, or I was hoping we were going to be a division team, but look at this. Absolutely ridiculous year from the Metropolitan Division. Putting 5 teams into the playoffs. Actually, no, the season is not over yet. Season is not over yet. Let's see. Well, it might be because we're in 5th still, so I don't think it matters. Let's simulate up to this day. Simulate up a day again. And who are we going to get in the playoffs? Yes, we are. We got the worst wildcard spot, so we are going to be going up against the Tampa Bay Lightning in the first round of the playoffs. Man, oh man, that is not looking good for us. That is not really what I wanted in the slightest. So, let's go take a look at the stats here. Let's take a look at the stats and see how it ended up. Actually, no, we were the second wildcard team. We were the second wildcard team. So we bypassed the New York Islanders, so we actually did end up getting the worst of the top division leaders, which was the Tampa Bay Lightning, since they ended with 101 points as well. So we got to play Tampa now in the first round. So we did end up passing the New York Islanders, but crazy year from the Metro, man. 5 teams over 100 points. Absolutely ridiculous. All right, well, let's compare how we stack up here in the entire league. 7th best team in the NHL. Look at all those teams over 100 points this year. Man, oh man, what was the worst team in the league this year? How many points did they have? 61 points with Vancouver Canucks, yeah. New York Rangers were a bad team. Detroit as well. Yep, so Rangers got some, obviously got some players there. Look at that. Calgary Flames even made it into the playoffs with 86 points with a record of 40, 36, and 6. It's crazy. All right, well, we're in the playoffs nonetheless. That's all that matters, though. Regular season doesn't mean squat now. Now it means is performing in the playoffs. So goals for per game, we were at 2.74, so roughly around the middle of the pack. Not too bad. Goals against per game, we were still 3rd best in the league for goals against at 2.28. Not too bad. Columbus and Montreal really bypassed us near the end, which is not too bad. Power play percentage is pretty bad. We have one of the worst power plays in the league at 14.35. And yeah, times of the power play kind of near the top 10-ish, near the middle-ish, but our power play needs to get it going. And penalty kill, what's our penalty kill at? Penalty kill is at an 83.8%, so it is top 10 in the league for penalty kill, which is not bad. All right, 27-11-3 at home, 20-17-4 on the road. So we ended up being close to 500 on the road, which is not bad. Coming into the playoffs, though, we're not a hot team. 4-5-1. Really lost it there at the back end of that little playoff stretch, or those little last couple of games. So that's not really looking too good for us here. All right, let's check out the forwards here for this Flyers team. Do a whole little stat update for everything here. So Rick Nash is going to end up leading our team with 70 points, but remember, he got 52 points from the New York Rangers. So if he ended off with 52 points in the Rangers, that means he ended getting us like 18 points in 20 games, which is really not too bad for Rick Nash here coming down the stretch for us. So I think the first line really helped him out. Jacob Voracek with only 63 points this year, not really too great. Claude Giroux with only 62. 62 points in 63 games for Claude Giroux. I really can't argue with that. He did what he needed to do. And, you know, if he wasn't injured all this year, he would have been that 82-point player, that 80-point player this year, roughly around point per game. So I can't complain about Giroux this year. Those injuries hurt him, but he still was point per game player. Tyler Toffoli with 54 points this year. Did he get, yeah, close to what he got last year, so not too bad. Braden Shen with 52 as well. Wayne Simmons with 52. Nathan Noel with his first year under his belt, 46 points. Not too shabby, +7 for the kid. 40 points for Coots. Konechny with 35, 11 goals, 24 assists for Travis Konechny. He's up to an 84 now. Ryan White with 23, Kruger with 19, Timo Meier with 17, Jay Beagle with 5, Max Talbot with 3. All right, not too bad there. From the boys, the forward core, not too shabby. And then defenseman, I guess ever since Robert Haig went down, I guess that's what really hurt us as well. So Provorov with 40 points on the year, not too bad. Shane Gostisbehere with 29, Sanheim with 27. Robert Haig only finished with 8 points in 74 games, but obviously he's out with an injury. Ulf Bachmann with 7 points, Sam Moran with 5, Paul Postma, no points in the 8 games that he played. And then goaltenders, oh wait a minute, what about the plus minuses for my defense? They were all plus players. All of them were plus players. And for goaltending, Steve Mason, 65 games started, 2.27, 34, 23, and 3, save percentage of .922, 7 shutouts on the year. And then Michael Neuwirth, pretty good year for Nuvi, 2.06, 13.501, save percentage of .925, and 4 shutouts for Neuwirth. So pretty good job there from a goaltender. Steve Mason did have 2 assists as well. Not too shabby. And yeah, this Flyers team is coming into the playoffs. Not good, but hopefully we can get this team under control. So if we have to go to the injury report here, Robert Haig is returning on May 2nd. So when is May 2nd? May 2nd. We are in the middle of April right now. So Robert Haig should be coming back by round 2 if we make it there. So if we can get to round 2, we'll be able to get Robert Haig back. But for right now, we're going to have to go through this Tampa Bay Lightning series against some really good offensively minded players without one of our better defensemen. So Paul Postman is really going to have to step his game up right now, or maybe we call somebody up from the AHL if they're actually of the overall to do so. Maybe we'll compare Taro Martins and Paul Postman together, since we can, you know, pretty easily call players up and down on our roster. But FAMs are going to be a playoff team as well, so that's going to be good to see. I forgot to do my stat totals for the entire NHL. I'll do that next time before we start the playoffs, but until then, it's already been a really long video. It's been a lot longer than I wanted it to be, but your Philadelphia Flyers are in the playoffs, made a wild card spot only because our division was extremely tough once again this year, but it seems like the trade for Rick Nash really did pay off. Seemed to be after the trade deadline once the chemistry got rolling, hit a bit of a rough patch at the beginning of April, but hopefully we can get this Flyers team under control as the playoffs are about to begin, and we are going up against the Tampa Bay Lightning here in the first round. Let me show you guys the playoff tree just before we get out of here. So in the West, Chicago, Winnipeg, St. Louis, Dallas, Edmonton, Calgary, Anaheim, Colorado. In the East, Carolina, Washington, Columbus, New York Islanders, Montreal, Toronto, Tampa Bay, Philadelphia. All right, so that is what your playoffs look like. We're all going to be on the road against Tampa next time, and we'll start around our Year 5 playoff run in the next video. So let me know, guys, if you think there should be any line changes that we do once again before we get started with the playoffs. Here is our lines and all the overalls for our players. Let me know if you think there's anything that we need to do to make any changes to the team. Let me know. That's our offense. That's what our defense looks like right now. There's our AHL defense. So maybe there's anything that needs to be changed here. Maybe Martins gets called up. I don't know. You guys can let me know. But that is what our team looks like right now. So thanks for watching, guys. If you did enjoy, leave a like, comment, subscribe as always, and we'll see you guys next time.